Hello, welcome to our second video in our four-part series where Ambassador Michael Gonzales is responding to questions that you've been asking on the US Embassy Facebook page. I am your host, Onisius Mamba. Ambassador, welcome back.
Thank you.
The first question in these economic related issues comes from Kuyu Song, and Kuyu Song asks, why do American companies avoid investing in Zambia? How do you intend to change this?
Look, I would argue that there are plenty of American companies here currently, but there can and should be a lot more. And so I think if you look at investment around the world, capital goes where it sees opportunity. The finance minister, Minister Musokotwane, was very clear back in April in recognizing that Zambia has to do a part to attract those companies. And so I think when an investor looks at where to invest, they look at where are property rights respected, where is there a rule of law, where are contracts upheld. And so as Zambia makes some of those reforms, such as those that the minister made reference to, I look forward to being one of Zambia's top champions in promoting the reality that Zambia is open for business and that there are opportunities here. And I'd like to see there be a lot more American firms here, but with the business reforms that I'm talking about, it's not only going to attract American firms, it's going to attract firms from France, from Brazil, from Japan, China, you name it. And all of that's going to be good for Zambia if they come and play by the rules-based order and support jobs and contributing to taxes. That's fantastic for Zambia.
Oh, thank you. We proceed. Another question comes from Muna Munalula, and Muna Munalula wants to know what role is the American government going to play in alleviating youth unemployment in Zambia during your tour of duty?
Sure. Well, there's only so many jobs that we have at the American Embassy, so that'll be a tiny portion of it. But more broadly, it's going to be, again, creating jobs through promoting investment, promoting entrepreneurship, getting small and medium enterprises up on their feet and working in rural areas. It's providing opportunities for youth. So I envision investors, including American investors, coming to Zambia through the improvements in the business enabling environment, creating jobs. But also the U.S. has invested significantly in youth education, particularly in youth literacy. And so by teaching young Zambians how to read, they can then teach themselves everything else that they need to know to have not just jobs, but skilled jobs, but professional jobs, so that Zambia is not only continuing to export unfinished materials, whether it's minerals or agricultural products, but add value here in country. If we can do that, then that is the foundations for a stronger economy and addressing youth unemployment.
Another question comes from Namundi Nayame, and Namundi Nayame asks, what is your take on climate change issues and some of the solutions that can reduce it?
Yeah, I mean, climate change is a massive challenge facing all of us. There's not a portion of the planet that's not affected by it. When I think about Zambia, it makes me smile because Zambia has demonstrated itself as a leader, in fact, leading negotiations on behalf of all of the African continent in international fora to address how to deal with climate change. I think in terms of the role that the U.S. Embassy can play here, multiple parts. Part of it is climate smart agriculture so that practices aren't as damaging to the environment. Natural resource management, how can communities work with and take advantage of natural resources in a sustainable way to provide jobs and opportunities, but also make sure that they're not cutting away at or eroding the environment that provides that benefit. And USAID has multiple programs in this space, particularly the Alternatives to Charcoal program, that's looking at how do we promote cleaner energy opportunities that are less damaging to the forests, reducing the deforestation trend that we see in Zambia, and providing alternative livelihoods for those who are engaged in the charcoal sector. So a lot to be done, but a lot that we are doing.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ambassador. And finally, in this segment, we picked another question coming from Muna Munalula again. And Muna Munalula asks, Is there a coordinated effort between the two governments to increase the market share of Zambian agro products in the U.S. market?
Sure. I mean, for several years, the United States has had the African Growth and Opportunity Act that provides preferential market access to the United States for products from Zambia and many other African countries. It's an opportunity to provide a leg up so that the industries in the African countries can have a chance to catch their breath without the intense competition from elsewhere. But also we have programs that are trying to promote investment, and particularly in the agricultural sector. How do we work with Zambian farmers to increase their productivity and their yields per hectare, but also to add value domestically? Zambia shouldn't just be raising cashews and exporting them to be roasted and packaged somewhere else, but adding that value here to export to the United States and elsewhere. And finally, through USAID's Trade Boost program, we have a program that links Zambian producers and American buyers to connect producers and markets so that Americans can enjoy the benefits of the produce of Zambia and pay a competitive market price for those. So I think the opportunities for closer business and economic ties between our countries, particularly in the agriculture sector, are significant.
Well, thank you so much, Ambassador. We get to wrap up our second video in this 4-part series, but stay tuned for our next episode covering consular, education, and grants. I have been your host, Onesius Mamba. Thank you so much.